All right.
Hello. I believe we are live. So, hello, Midfall Speedball. My name is Tempest Mask 1000, and I will be your next host for the upcoming this upcoming Pokemon run, as well as the Outer Worlds. And I'm looking forward to bringing in the hype with you all. So, coming up right now, we have KonceptioN2 with Pokemon Sword and Shield, the Tower of Two Fists. And right now, with that epic bid war between Bulbasaur and Squirtle, it is indeed true that Bulbasaur is in the lead with $30. But before we get to it, I do want to point out a quick donation. We have a $10 dono from Young Thunfish saying, "Go Conception and go Bulbasaur." So, I believe chat is ready, and, well, take it away, Con.
All right, let's go. What an intro. Thank you so much for that. Yes, my name's KonceptioN2. We're going to be running Pokemon Sword Tower of Two Fists. Let's just get started because we got a 2.5 minute cutscene at the beginning, so we'll talk a lot during then. So time is going to start in 3. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let's change my name real quick. We got to do something more appropriate. Just used to doing 1 because it's the quickest option, but there we go. All right, time's going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, like I said, there is a roughly 2.5 minutes worth of cutscenes at the beginning. So let's talk a little bit. This is Pokemon Sword, and this is specifically Tower of Two Fists. If you're unfamiliar with that, that is the key feature of the first DLC of Pokemon Sword and Shield, which focuses on the Isle of Armor. So this run is much different than a standard any percent run of Pokemon Sword or Shield. And I even do a slightly different route than what is typical for even this run. So what we do is we're going to start the game on a fresh file as normal. So we're going to go through all the beginning stuff, getting our first Pokemon, our first rival battles, and doing all of that. And then as soon as we can hop over to the DLC, which is not too long into the run, then we're going to hop over to it as fast as we can. The run is unique because we don't get the ability to use things like fly or bike, so we're going to be utilizing more things like death warps and creative uses of getting places faster or doing things as fast as we can. In addition to that, so I'm going to get a starter Pokemon, but it's not going to be the Pokemon I use throughout. I'm going to start with Sobble. I'm going to then catch a Vulpix for a Ninetales to use in the vast middle part of the section. And then this particular run is the Get Urshifu, or kind of, which is kind of like the good ending version of the run. So once we get our Cubfu after beating, certain trainers, which we'll get into in a little bit, then we have to train up our Cubfu a little bit and then take it to one of the towers in order to defeat the tower, and that's where the run will end. So we got a lot of objectives here, but it's a really unique way to showcase a game's run, which is usually 4 hours plus, in a much more bite-sized format. So it's a really interesting run. We'll get to dive into that a little bit here. But yeah, we're a good chunk through the cutscene, but we still got a little bit more. And another interesting point as well, playing on the digital version instead of playing on the physical version, like a lot of games, cuts down on our load time. So digital version is what I'm running on. So in order to just kind of optimize the amount of time we can save here. You'll notice as well, as we're getting ready to get into our first text boxes, things move a little slowly, and that's because I don't have the option to edit my options until after Hop is done talking to us. But after that, we're going to change quite a few options in order to make that a little bit faster for us. We're going to change things like the text speed. We're going to make it as fast as possible. We're going to take off battle effects so things move quickly. We're going to change battle style to set so it doesn't ask us after every Pokemon we defeat if we want to change Pokemon. We are going to turn off giving nicknames because in this game, names move fast enough that it doesn't really matter to name it one character. It doesn't save us a ton of time. And we're going to turn off movies and autosaves. All right, got our settings. Moving on. So now we just got to grab our bag here. I check my settings one more time just to make sure everything's good. 5. Autosave off. Yeah, that's fine. All good. Always good to check. All right, so we get to make our way out of the house for the first time. Unfortunately, the beginning part of the game is rather like cutscene heavy, so we do turn off skip movies, as I had mentioned, which doesn't skip cutscenes altogether. It skips the more cinematic movies that would play in the run, and that doesn't play too much into this run, unfortunately. But it plays into it enough that it's worth doing. But it doesn't skip things like these cutscenes. It just skips more cinematic type video clips. But yeah, if you never played this game, this is Hop. He is our quote-unquote rival, but we're also like best friends. So it's definitely more of like a friendship and a competitive friendship than it is like a true, like vicious rivalry or anything like that. And this is the Galar region, which is based around England. Just some basic stuff there. While we're getting all this set up, because it's just a lot of cutscene and dialogue and stuff that we have to get through. Tempest set it up front as well. We got a bid war going for this, which is still not closed because we don't need to utilize it until roughly an hour-ish into the run, maybe a little less. So be sure to get your donations in for Bulbasaur v Squirtle, based on which one you want me to pick. And also, yeah, just get that money in for the emergency food shelf. It's just such a great cause, so get those donos in. I swear we'll get a Pokemon eventually. But first we gotta go see this person with the hair show off their Charizard in front of a group of people. Which, if I had a Charizard, I'd probably do the same thing, so I feel him. Yeah, if we have any other donations or plugs right now is actually a really good time, as we're gonna cut through this cutscene and then get to our first Pokemon, so.
All right, sounds good. So once again, just before we get to that, I do want to remind that, yes, my name is TempestMask1000, and I want to give a quick hello to our friends at Baguette Restream and Japanese Restream. Midfall Speedball 2020 is being restreamed in French and Japanese by our friends over at Baguette Restream and Japanese Restream, respectively. You can find the French Restream at twitch.tv, Baguette Restream. That is Baguette_Restream, and the Japanese Restream at twitch.tv /Japanese_Restream. We've worked with both of these groups once before, and we're very thankful to have their support once again. At this time, I would like to currently bring up that we do have a single unmet incentive in Sonic Roboblast 2, where our runner will be able to play the Knights special stage. So, as someone who has played Sonic Roboblast 2 before, the special stages basically work as a Knights game. So if that does suit your fancy, well, we need to reach $40 to meet that goal. So there's one thing you can also contribute your your very generous donations toward, but we also have a bid war for Sonic Roboblast 2, where you can either have the music be played in the digital format or the MIDI format. Me personally, I think that digital soundtrack is pretty dang cool, but I do believe the MIDI stuff is the originals, so there's also, hey, either works for me. I also want to bring up that we do have The Outer Worlds character name bid war. Now, we do not currently have any names or donations put into that yet, and I do want to remind you all that that is our next run. So, if you would like to have the character get named whatever your heart desires, now's a good time to give those suggestions to Bystander Tim. Other than that, I think that's as good as that's good enough for now. So, I do believe we are going to be selecting our Sobble.
Yep, we actually have selected our Sobble. Oops. I accidentally hit no for the battle. which is fine, just an extra text box.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've already selected Sobble. So I mentioned up at the top during the opening cutscenes that I do a slightly different route than normal. And I do that for a few reasons. One is that, so typically this run will utilize Sobble for the majority of the run until we get Kung Fu, obviously. So the holdback to that is that we'd have to get a Sobble with particularly good stats, specifically like good special attack and stuff like that. So because I'm not using that and I'm going to be using a Vulpix / Ninetales in the middle, it actually doesn't matter really whatsoever what my stats on Sobble are, which saves us a lot of like resetting time. Before, if I had done that, I'd probably have to get set up with like a particularly good Sobble save file just in case I got a bad one during the run. So it makes it a little bit more, you know, marathon safe for us as well. But these fights go, regardless of stats of our Sobble here, these fights go pretty much the same, which are, we take out the Wooloo with a few pounds, like usually 3, and then we take out the Score Bunny here with Water Gun, except I use pound first. That's another thing that's kind of interesting about this is that the controls, especially when using like a Switch Pro controller, for example, it's very easy to fat thumb controls here, meaning that either when you use the stick, it'll flick up and then back down. So it will, you know, as I tried to flick the stick, it kind of went to Water Gun and then went back to pound. So I kind of fat thumbed it there. Also, it's very easy to input early by accident and then it not register it at all. So yeah, just little things that can pop up like that. But that's more a controller restriction than a game restriction. All right, so we're in there. We finally defeat Hop for the first time. You'll see when we fight Hop, as we will a couple more times, or at least one more time, that he likes to interject in the fight with his little lines. It's kind of what he's known for, kind of a meme. The next fight, actually, there's a little bit of RNG as to whether or not he'll inject a line in or not, which we'll cross that bridge a little bit when we get to it. But for now, we're gonna head into the Slumbering Weld to find this missing Wooloo who kept crashing into the gate earlier. During the Slumbering Weld here, there's going to be scripted encounters, so encounters that, you know, you can't skip. They're meant to happen. 3 encounters, 1 in each little patch of grass that we're gonna see here. So we're gonna get a Squovit, a Rookidee, and another Squovit. Unavoidable, but we just run from all 3. Luckily too, as well, the run, especially near the beginning, we get a lot of like free saves. So, you know, I fought Hop at the beginning there, but as you saw right now, Sobble is full health, so I don't have to worry about like stocking up on a ton of potions and stuff like that, or utilizing Pokemon Centers a bunch. I actually don't heal out of Pokemon Center once in this run, so we just utilize free heals and death warps mainly. Alright, so there's our Rookidee. Hop gives us a quick interruption. 3rd patch of grass, scripted encounter. All right, and then going forward from this point, so we got like, it's basically a cutscene, but it's not exactly. So if you've played the story before, you know that you're going to encounter one of the legendary beasts coming up here, and it acts as a fight. So I do have to like actually input things in order to make it pass, but there's literally nothing I can do. The only thing I can do is attempt to attack it and fail 3 times, so then it finally moves on. Unfortunately, it's unavoidable. You can't run from it. You try to run from it, it says no. So you kind of just have to go through it.
If I may, that do be some doggo vibes, though.
Mm-hmm. Absolute doggo vibes, for sure. But I think my Sob can take it. I really do. I mean, question mark, question mark, question mark, at question mark, question mark, question mark level doesn't seem too threatening.
Can we get some awoos in the chat?
Yeah. I really think my level 7 Sobble has this. Like, I feel good about it. Worth mentioning, just from an outside standpoint, I wanted to mention this at some point during the run, but this is now a good point because we got some cutscene action going on. So roughly almost exactly a year ago was my first ever marathon run for anything ever, and it was at Midfall Speedball 2019, where I got to be in a 4-way race of Pokemon Red with some of my other friends in the community, and running in that really got me into the marathon mood. I've done like 30 marathon runs since, or something crazy, some wild number like that. So I wanted to thank, the Midwest Speed Fest crew and staff and everything like that for giving me my start in marathons and then kind of spurring this motivation in me to continue to do more marathon runs and play games for good, and help raise money for charity and motivate myself to get better and better. So I appreciate them taking a chance on me back then and continuing to take chances on me at their other events as well. I really appreciate that. All right, so we've made our way out of the Slumbering Well finally. We have to go talk to Mom real quick, so Mom can see our Sobble and whatnot and let us know that we're good to go, and then make our way back out. Now we finally get a little bit open here, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna head down to our first route to kind of make our first Pokemon catch coming up here. So what we're hoping to get, and this is where RNG really starts to kick off, unfortunately. So what we're hoping to get is a Wooloo in the grass. We're going to catch something regardless, but hopefully it's a Wooloo because Wooloos give the most experience. And we want, excellent. We find one right away, of course. Ideally, it would be a level 5 or 6. So I don't know if I can be a little choosy here, game, but okay, nope, but that's still fine. The reason we want to catch something here for 2 reasons. One, we want some experience so that after our fight, we get our first trainer fight, we're going to level up, ideally. If we'd gotten a level 5 or 6 Wooloo, we'd actually level up from the catch alone. Keeping in mind, of course, in this game, if you catch Pokemon, you get experience as well. So that is why catching is faster than fighting, of course. Any Pokemon would be fine here. Any level experience would have been fine, but Wooloo gets us that much closer. And then obviously gives us a chance to skip it all together. If we had hit level 8 there, then we would be set up really well for the next the next fight specifically, and really the next 2 fights, so that they could have gone potentially faster, but not really in our control. The second reason why we catch something there is because Leon, who we're talking to right now, would give us a catch tutorial when we get to Route 2 if we hadn't caught something already. Instead, he'll say, "Oh, it looks like you already know how to catch things," so that helps skip the catching tutorial. But yeah, so we did get a Wooloo, so that's good. Also very unusual there that it got out on the first ball. Usually, especially in Route 1, you throw a ball the first time, you're gonna catch something. That's I don't know if that's ever happened to me before in running this game. I haven't run this category for a super long time, but I don't recall that that's ever happened to me, that it broke out on Route 1 there. So check it off on your bingo cards. This has never happened before. I'm sure it's happened to somebody though. It's just not me. It's Pokemon. Literally anything can happen. Literally anything. But here we are. This is the kind of a Pokemon lab of sorts. This is Sonia, who is the Pokemon professor's assistant of this region. So she's gonna set us up with our first Pokédex, basically. So we have to make a stop over here, and then now we can leave. We're gonna get interrupted by this individual who's gonna give us some potions, which is actually pretty handy. So thank you for doing that. And then we're gonna make a small pit stop around the corner here to the right and grab this rare candy, which we may or may not need, but we'll have to just kind of wait and see. And we'll dive into that a little bit later. A lot later, actually. It's kind of towards the end of the run, but we'll dive into it. All right, so we talked to Hop here. He's going to get us over into our Pokemon Center for the first time. Once inside, he's going to ask, "Do you know what a Pokemon Center is?" And it's very good that I hit, "Of course I do," or "Of course," He asks if it's the first time we've been in one, and we say, "Of course not." Otherwise, he gives us like a 20-ish second pass around of what the Pokemon Center is, which we don't want. We're going to run over to the PC here. We're going to deposit the Wooloo we caught, and then exit. The reason why we're depositing that Wooloo is because we don't want to share experience at the moment. How this game works, if you're unfamiliar with more modern Pokemon games, is that if you have Pokemon in your party and you defeat or catch Pokemon, every Pokemon gets experience, not just the one that you have out front. But if you, and it's kind of like a shared experience. So if you only have one Pokemon, it's going to get all of the experience, which we want to kind of channel towards Sobble at this moment, so he can get a little bit more beefed up for what we need him to be. All right, so here we are, Route 2. We picked up also from that vendor 3 Pekka Berries. Pekka Berries are very handy for later on. What they do is they will cure poison, so you'll see where we might have to use those later on. And that was Leon. Like I said, right there, he would have given us a Pokemon catching tutorial that is unskippable unless you've caught something. If I had not caught something there, we don't get the option to say, no, I'm good. Like, it would just happen. So, here we are. And here's our first trainer. Usually I get caught way before that. I got right up in this trainer's grill here. But yeah, the fight is, we fight 2 trainers on this route, and we skip round 1. They're relatively uneventful. So we just are gonna water gun everything we see. Oh, we got a nice critical there. I think it's still gonna take 3 water guns unless we get a second critical. But if we got double criticals, that would save us a little bit of time. But yeah, no, I didn't expect it. It's a marathon. I'm not gonna get good luck. Come on. What is that? There we go. So that three water guns there is pretty normal. Two is fast. 4 is, we can get 4 if our special attack is bad. And we haven't leveled up already, obviously. So 3 is pretty normal. Don't do it. There we go. You can obviously see as well Pokemon pop up in the grass, which makes it pretty handy, so we don't have to use things like revives as regularly, because we can actually see the Pokemon in the grass. So you'll notice there, like there was a trainer out there, but I could walk around it and I could see where the Pokemon were in the grass, so I can know to avoid them. I almost got hit, like real close to getting hit there, but I didn't. But came awful close. So this Blip Bug, it's going to take 2 hits, and unfortunately it always uses Struggle Bug, so which is unfortunate for us because it lowers our special attack, which is exactly the stat that Water Gun uses. It would be great if it didn't, because then the second Pokemon this trainer uses, which is a Nickit, would go a little bit faster, but here we are. Yep, so quick attack is fine for now. Once we get towards like the end of what this fight is going to be, hopefully it doesn't use quick attack, because then I'll save us some time. That's a critical, so that's pretty good. Don't use quick attack. Good. All right, so this fight was pretty normal to slightly fast, actually, so that was pretty good. All right, as you can see, we're moving on up the ranks here. And then this is the Pokemon Professor's house / lab. We got a bit of a cutscene, so if you have time for like a quick donation or a quick plug, I would say.
Well, I do have a $5 donation from Wandering Mind saying, "Hey all, what do you call it when you play Pokemon Sword and Shield on your Switch while you watch Hulu?"
Ooh, what do we call it?
Hulu and Wooloo. Glad I can catch this event.
Hulu and Wooloo. That's 2020's Netflix and chill, I'm pretty sure.
Also, I'd like to point out that our friends at Japanese Restream seem to love Sonia's Yamper.
Oh, well, I love Sonia's Yamper too. One of my favorite Pokemon additions in this generation is Yamper and Boltund. So, great one. Yeah, Yamper is love.
Doggo is life.
Exactly. All right, so we pop out here now. We get to battle Hop yet again. This time he's got a little bit more firepower, but not exactly, because this fight is pretty simple for us. same deal. We're just going to water gun everything until it's over. I'd mentioned before that during this fight, there is an instance of RNG that can occur in terms of hop. And what that is when it comes to Score Bunny, which is the second Pokemon he uses, he's still going to use his Wooloo first. So he's going to use Wooloo, which is fine. Then Score Bunny is going to take 2 turns to defeat. And so that means Score Bunny is going to get 1 attack off on us. If we want that attack to be Tackle, it can be Ember. And if that attack is Ember, we get a whole extra like voice line like cutaway with Hop talking about like, you know, our you know, I forget exactly the line. It's like our stars burn bright or something like that. You know, just something perfectly kind of anime. So hopefully we get Tackle and we get to avoid that because that's just a time save. Oh, actually, it looks like this Score Bunny is going to get 2 attacks off on us because in another rare instance, we are slower, I think. So that's unusual. But we gotta get Tackle both times. But it's still a little slow because, like I said, I'm used to only having to deal with Score Bunny's 1 attack, so. Not a problem, though. Just waste an extra turn. At least we didn't get to see the that extra cutscene line thing. Alright, and then Rookie D is pretty straightforward as well. Just water gun until down. And there we go. That's Hop 2. Alright. So, Hop 2 is down. Now we get a nice little cutscene where we learn about, we get our Dynamax band and learn a little bit about like the theories of Dynamaxing and stuff like that. We don't get to use it yet, but we will get to use Dynamaxing once in this run, so you will get to see it. We also get this letter of endorsement from Leon that says, hey, you can go on the Gym Leader Challenge now, and we don't fight a single Gym Leader in this run, so unfortunately, can't skip by it, still have to do it. We're trying to get over to the Isle of Armor as fast as we can, but we got to get through the beginning cutscenes, beginning game stuff, rather. But after we get through these cutscenes and start making our way back, this is when things are going to really open up for us quite a bit in terms of you know, exploration and ability to free play, because we're going to make our way over to the wild area for the first time, and that is when the route really opens. Right now we're kind of just on the rails. Awesome. Actually, now would be a good time. What's the most current update on our bid war? I'm curious to see what our what we're at. I know Bulbasaur is probably still ahead, right?
Yeah, let me just take a quick look, see the update. Yeah, Bulbasaur is currently at $40 now.
And nothing for Squirtle?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh man, no one comes through for the water turtle, huh? Squirtle needs some love. Let's get Squirtle some love. There's gotta be some Squirtle lovers out there. You know, classic Squirtle Squad stuff, or you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say shout out to the Squirtle Squad.
Yeah, I mean Bulbasaur is great too. Don't get me wrong, but no one showing up from Squirtle is just kind of sad. You know, it's like we were talking about it before my run started. It's kind of like when you're playing those OG Pokemon games and that one Pokemon, you know, between after you pick yours and your rival picks the other, it just gets left on the desk. That's what Squirtle's feeling like right now. Don't let Squirtle feel that way. Dang. Yeah, I'm tugging on the heartstrings, but it's for a good cause. It's for a good cause. So
at least $1 to his cause would do him a little bit of justice.
Yeah. Or else you're gonna have to tell him directly to his face, because we're gonna see him that, hey, you're not worth donating to.
And we do not want that.
No, it's really sad, so we don't want to do that. All right, so now we are done over at the professor's lab/house. We have to just make our way back. Again, we don't have flying or biking, so we just hoof it. And hopefully we don't hit any wild encounters. One more patch of grass, I think. Yeah, there we go. We made it pretty clean through. That's good. Don't worry, still plenty of opportunities for me to mess up and hit a random encounter. So we're going to make our way over to the train station now. Hop is going to give us a TM for Swift, which we don't use at all, but again, can't avoid it. And then we're going to have a little bit of a cutscene interaction with each of our moms, kind of individually, and then we'll make our way over to the wild area. So what we're going to do in the wild area, you might have noticed at the beginning of the run when Tempest was kind of giving my intro, I had my Switch's clock up, and I had it set for a very specific time, which was April 15th at 11:45 p.m. And that sets up a couple of like easy things for us here at the beginning, which is it sets up specific encounters. Like I said, we're going to be utilizing Vulpix and Ninetales a lot. So it gives us the ability to get Vulpix rather easily when we get to the wild area. It also is going to set it up so that there's a drought in the wild area, which will give us a bonus to fire type attacks, which we do have to defeat one Pokemon in the wild area with our Ninetales. Just to get a little bit of XP, so that makes it just go by a little bit faster. You'll see later on in the run, we're actually going to change our time again. But first, I want to shout out this guy who works at the train station, and his sideburns are train tracks. I've never been so dedicated to a job.
Oh my gosh, they are train tracks, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. Imagine shaving your own work into your face. You know, very interesting. But here we are, the wild area. So what we're going to do, we have a very specific sequence of events, and this is where RNG can really take hold a little bit. So hopefully we get good RNG. So order of events, what we're going to do once we gain control is we're going to run to the left just briefly, and there's going to be an Onix that pops up, which is also another reason why we set up the time when we do. We're going to die to the Onix hopefully as fast as possible. The Onix has 2 moves that attack us and 2 moves that don't, and it's just completely random as to what moves he uses. So hopefully we get a fast cycle and die rather quickly. Then we'll be teleported back to near the train station, where somebody will ask us if we want to go to Motostoke. I don't exactly know how to pronounce it. Somebody else probably does, but we're gonna say yes and then take that warp there, and then we'll kind of go from there. There's a lot of sequence of events here. So here's our Onix. We have to do this little note on the ground first, so can't skip it. Alright, so let's get some good RNGs in the chat for Onix. We hopefully just get taken down first turn. Rock Slide is what we would love to see. Dragon Breath is fine. It's not going to kill us, but it's fine. At least it's an attacking move. Okay, that's fine. 2 turns is fine. I take that. That's great. He also has Curse and Screech, and I've been in plenty of runs where he'll just just completely spam both of those, and this turns into like 10, 12, 14 turn fights sometimes, and you're just resetting over and over again. So we get a fast death warp here. And it actually takes us to the completely opposite end of the wild area, as you can see. Then we're gonna head over here to this bridge. We're gonna cross the bridge, and just shortly past crossing the bridge, there's a Firestone, which we're going to grab real quick. Obviously, me mentioning already that we're going to be using Ninetales, it's obvious what we're gonna use the Firestone for. We're gonna catch a Vulpix, then evolve it to a Ninetales. So we're gonna run and grab that. Like I've said before too, this isn't like it's a common route. It's kind of common enough route to do this for, but it's not like the most common route. Mostly people just take Sobble most of the way until they get to Kubfu, which is perfectly normal. The reason why I chose to do this for a run is actually I think it's more marathon safe. Because we don't have to depend on really good stats, particularly when we catch the Vulpix. We're gonna want a Vulpix with some specific stats, but even if I catch a Vulpix and it doesn't have the stats that I'm looking for, it's very easy for me to catch another one, as opposed to resetting the game and then trying to get a better Sobble. Alright, cool. So we Death Warp again. This Death Warp is much less RNG heavy, especially if we get Skorupi, because Skorupi can take us out with pretty much most of his moves. He also has Scary Face, so you could use Scary Face, but it's not as likely. So this time we don't warp when we get back here, and now we're obviously back to where we started, where the Onix was. We're gonna head down into this grass area, and there's gonna be quite a few Vulpixes. We'll grab the first one we see. Hopefully it's a good one. If it's a level 7, we're gonna run because a level 7 is not really runnable. So let's see here. Yeah, we're gonna run. Unfortunate, but that's fine. Just waste a little bit of time. Alright, so as you can see, there are Vulpixes abound, so even if I catch one and it doesn't have the stats that I'm looking for, that's perfectly fine. We'll just catch another one. 9 is good. So we're going to pound once just to weaken it slightly. And then throw a Pokeball. So the two stats that are really important for our Vulpix here is that they have decent special attack and decent speed. Those are the two things that we kind of depend on. So right after it catches Vulpix, I'm going to go into my box to look at the stats and see if it's a good enough fit. So I'm just going to kind of focus on that for a second. Okay.
Would this be a good time to read a quick donation then?
Yes, 1 second though. Let me just focus on this real quick because I'm just comparing stats on a table. Yep, we're good. Go ahead.
Sounds good. Well, we got a $5 donation from Laika the Space Dog saying, finally a marathon run of KonceptioN2 I can watch because it's not in the middle of the night for me. Yay! Here's some love for Squirtle. Thanks for being awesome, Nate.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Several of my community members coming through, and I really appreciate Young Toonfish and Laika for coming through with those donations. Thank you so much. It means a lot. Appreciate you coming to support as well. Okay, so we have a good Vulpix / Ninetales, so not too bad. We're gonna now run down this way. We have another unavoidable like little note thing that we have to pick up off the ground. Unfortunately, that's kind of like their way of doing tutorials without doing tutorials. And there's going to be a Ninjask right there that pops up. We're going to defeat that for some XP. We actually have a pretty good Vulpix on the higher end of both stats, which was pretty good. We do have a chance of dying here, unfortunately. I think we can take one more hit, though, so I'm going to Ember just in case. And it's fine, it didn't use an attack move anyway. Ninjask only has Scratch for attack moves, so I wasn't overly worried. Yeah, we're fine. We're good, and then this gets us some XP. Actually, it's going to level up both Ninetales and our Sobble. And actually, weirdly enough, despite having Ninetales out front, the Sobble leveling up is actually a little bit more important there. And that is coming up. We're actually finally going to be able to start diving into like where the Isle of Armor goes. And how the Isle of Armor starts, it starts by having a Slowpoke come through the tracks into the train station. And then we have to catch it specifically to move on. You can't kill it, otherwise it'll say, oh, well, it's still here. Do you want to try catching it instead? And then you have to fight it again. You have to catch it specifically, and it is, I believe it is a level 11 Slowpoke, if I remember correctly. In this game, if you are the same level or beneath the level of the Pokemon that you are trying to catch, you have a significantly less chance of catching it. So we do have Ninetales out front right now, but it is the same level as the Slowpoke. Therefore, if we tried to catch Ninetales, we tried to catch Slowpoke with Ninetales, we would have a much more difficult time. So what we'll do when we get to that Slowpoke is we are going to hit it once with Ninetales and then swap the Sobble to catch it, because it'll be a much easier time. But one thing that we're going to do first, and is really, really great for Pokemon speedrunning, is that once you have a Pokemon, you can learn the moves from at any point in its evolution cycle by going to a individual in a Pokemon Center. So I'm going to teach all 4 moves that we're going to be using with our Ninetales for the run. Really handy. Basically, you can get the moveset you want right away. Alright, and I'm just going to focus on doing this fast for a second. Oops. Skipped a step. Started scrolling too early. Alright, excellent. So the moves that we teach Ninetales are Nasty Plot, Flamethrower, Safeguard, and Fire Blast. And those are the moves that the Ninetales is going to know the entire time. So we just make that quick pit stop, and now we're able to get on with the actual Isle of Armor stuff, finally getting into the DLC portions of the run. So here's Train Track Sideburns again, and then here is the Slowpoke, the Galarian Slowpoke specifically, that we have to deal with. It's actually funny, so we're going to actually specifically walk over to directly in front of the Slowpoke, because if we walk to the side of it and click, as you can see kind of right there, because I overshot it just slightly, we have to wait for the Slowpoke to turn, which if you do it directly from the side, it wastes like 2 seconds. That's how slow it is. So we tried to get directly in front of it to make it go by faster. Okay, so like I said, we're going to attack with Ninetales once. So the Slowpoke is weakened. Then we're going to swap to Sobble. That's fine. And we're going to catch it. So I misspoke earlier. So it's not same level or below, it's just below, because Sobble is the same level as Slowpoke. I misspoke. So if they're the same level or above, you have a significantly better chance of catching a Pokemon. And if you are below the level of the Pokemon, it is substantially harder. That is the correct sentence. All right. So this is Clara, by the way. Clara is going to be our kind of rival for the length of the Isle of Armor DLC. We're going to see her plenty. All right. And then once we gain control here, we select that we're going to Armor Station. So when, if you're familiar with the, Sword and Shield at all, you'll know that the Crown Tundra also just came out recently, which is fine for this run. It actually, the only thing that it changes for this run specifically is that it adds 2 extra text boxes, which is, momentary in time. So it's not a big deal for us. But it has changed a lot about how to run this game specifically. In terms of any percent DLC runs, it has changed quite a bit, but not for this run, luckily. So we have made our way over to the Isle of Armor. This Professor's Aid is going to update our Pokédex, and then we're going to do a couple things real quick. First, we're going to deposit our Sobble and Slowpoke. I'm actually also going to go ahead and heal our Ninetales just for safety. Probably would have been fine. But you never want to, you always want to be sure. And then since I already had the menu there anyway, I went ahead and equipped the Cherry Berry, which is actually useful for not this fight, but the fight after. Which typically I would do this fight and then I would equip the Cherry Berry after, but it won't make a difference. And I figured I'll save a menu. One thing that I really enjoy about this DLC is, and you'll see this a little bit more as we get into meeting some of the other characters from it, is that the writing is really sharp. Alright, so we're gonna buy a couple things here. Oops, forgot one thing. There we go. So we bought some potions, some antidotes, and some awakenings. They're all pretty self-explanatory as to what they do. Awakenings will be for one of the challenges that we deal with on the Isle of Armor here, but not this first challenge. What we're getting ready to do now is we're going to encounter Clara, and we're going to fight Clara. So pretty self-explanatory as to what we're going to be doing here. Clara has 2 Pokemon, Ventipede and a Slowpoke. Now, keeping in mind also, you might be wondering, Slowpoke is typically water type. When we're using fire type, how is this working out for you? All the Slowpokes that we will encounter, and plus, trust me, there's plenty of Slowpokes. We will be fighting Galarian versions of those Slowpokes. Therefore, they are not water type. They are Psychic Poison, I believe. Or yeah, Psychic Poison, I believe, is the case. Definitely Poison, and I think Psychic. Okay, so we use Nasty Plot, which raises our special attack first. Then we Flamethrower. it comes to the Slowpoke, we're just going to Flamethrower as well. Could take 1 or 2 Flamethrowers. I think we got it in 1, which is great. If our special attack was bad, it could have taken 2. And that's Clara for the first time. We will see her again, though. The next fight that we're going to be dealing with has some RNG elements to it, so some interesting stuff going to be happening here. Well, first we got to get there. All right. So now we get to move finally. Cut through as fast as we can. Some more doggo Pokemon, as you can see, little pup over there.
Shout out to the doggo Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm a big dog Pokemon fan for sure, for sure.
What would be your favorite?
Arcanine is my favorite Pokemon of all time, and also my favorite dog Pokemon.
Ooh, good choice.
Mm-hmm. As always, any game, any Pokemon game I ever play, I always look for the version that has Growlithe on it, and that is the version I choose usually.
For me, I think my favorite doggo Pokemon would be Stoutland.
That's a good one. They're all just so good. Sometime I want to make like just a full dog team for fun.
Yep, that would be cool.
All right, so this is the dojo, which is kind of like our home base for this run, and kind of the basis as to what is happening in the story. So we arrive on the Isle of Armor, and we kind of, to give the story like a brief synopsis, we arrive on the Isle of Armor, and we join the dojo. It completes various challenges to be proven the one worthy to get the island's armor, quote unquote, which is actually the Kubfu. Spoiler alert. But so we're going to join the dojo here. Clara's not super happy about it because she doesn't want to be shown up. She wants to be the star student. Because she has aspirations to be a Pokemon gym leader someday, as you can tell with her clothes. That's exactly the uniform that gym leaders wear, basically. So she has aspirations to be a gym leader, which is why she is at the dojo here. As I mentioned before, here is when I would have equipped the Cherry Berry previously. What the Cherry Berry does is it heals paralysis. And that is because we're getting ready to encounter a fight that has a chance of paralyzing us. It doesn't always do it, but it has a chance. So it's worth equipping just in case it happens. This is the dojo and its various members, headed up by a small family. Hyde is the child. Gives us this experience charm. Hyde is pretty much a non-factor. Honey is also pretty much a non-factor. But they are nice characters. And then this is the kind of leader of the dojo. His name is Mustard. Perfectly reasonable name. All right. And we are going to talk to Mustard, and Mustard is the fight that we're getting ready to do. Mustard has 2 Pokemon, which are Mienfoo and Shinx. Mienfoo is the one that kind of gives us a problem sometimes. Shouldn't be too much of an issue right now, hopefully. So typically, and almost always, and when I say almost always, it's only ever happened to me once that it hasn't happened, which is that Mienfoo will use Fake Out on turn 1. There you go. Which is fine. It makes us flinch, so we miss our first turn, unfortunately. Getting a crit there is not great. We have a small chance of dying. Okay, we're fine. And we're actually going to use Fire Blast and hope it hits. Good. Why I say I hope it hits is Fire Blast is not a 100% move. So there was a good shot that it missed. Luckily, we got good RNG there. So we are pretty much good to go for this fight. Shinx is not really a problem. We've nasty plotted and have our raised special attack. We just flamethrower it once and it's down. Yeep. There it goes. Now, if we had not gotten fake out on that turn, it actually would have been a lot faster because, well, it just wastes a whole turn for us because we don't get the ability to act on the turn that we get fake out. The one time that I had not seen fake out on Mean Foo there was when I PB'd. So it saves like, you know, probably like 8 or 9 seconds if we don't get fake outed, but it's so rare that we don't. All right, so we get our dojo closed here, and then we get to kind of learn about the challenges that we're going to be dealing with. Everyone needs to complete challenges if they hope to get the armor of the island. That receives the secret armor of the dojo. The first challenge that we're going to be dealing with is, as you're going to see in a second. Actually, I won't spoil it because it's funny. You know, it's kind of like a little quirky thing. She got her dojo uniform. Wait, stolen. Stolen by who? Who is it stolen by? Well, these slowpokes, of course. And you might be wondering, wow, that was pretty quick for a slowpoke, but these are not slowpokes. They are fast pokes. As you're again ready to see, they book it. They are fast little slowpokes. And that is our first challenge. We have to catch these 3 slowpokes and get each piece of Claire's uniform back. No problem, easy peasy. I will plug now, we have just a few more minutes to get your donations in for Bulbasaur versus Squirtle. So last minute donations, if you're thinking about it, get them in. Because we're not wrapping it up yet, but it's going to wrap up pretty soon. Alright. So I go ahead and heal there, especially because I got crit by the Mean Foo. I just want to make sure that we have enough health. We might even have to heal again at some point. We'll see. Just kind of depends on the RNG we get from the slowpokes. So each slowpoke fights roughly the same. What we're going to do is we're going to go to, as you can see, they're running away. We're going to go to each area, catch it while it's running around in a circle, and then fight it and defeat it to get each piece of uniform back. And they all fight roughly the same. The 3 main moves that they're going to use are Confusion, Acid, or Yawn. Yawn is by far the most annoying, especially if you get it on the first turn, because then that means we're going to fall asleep after turn 2. So then we got to use an Awakening, which is exactly why we bought them in the shop. Confusion and Acid are obviously annoying. If we keep getting hit repeatedly, then we're going to have to heal. The 4th move that the slowpoke knows, oops, I missed it, is Disable, which can be annoying depending on when it's used, but it's not a big deal. We can kind of work around it. I'm notorious for always missing slowpokes on their first cycle. I don't know why, I'm just so bad at it. Yep, and of course we get Yawn first turn, which is unfortunately, you know, not the best. Disable is actually fine there because we don't need to use Nasty Pop for the rest of the fight, but we are going to be asleep now. Gotta use our Awakening. Yeah, Acid is fine. We actually don't need to heal after this, which is good. Boom. So that's first slowpoke down. And thus the first piece of clothing. Now we gotta make our way over to the second slowpoke. Now the second one can only be annoying based on where it is, because there is one Pokemon that pops up in this wild area of sorts that always seems to want to troll me, and that Pokemon is Bouffalant, which is, if you're not familiar, is kind of like a large bull Pokemon, similar to Tauros, but has bigger horns and stuff. And if Bouffalant spots you, it's going to charge you, and you will almost always have to run away from it at some point. Of course, we got Yawn on first turn again, which is just slow, because that means we're just going to have to heal off our sleepiness. All right, there we go. So that's Slowpoke 2 down. One more to go. So Boufflant can pop up in this grass, which is why I was mentioning that before, but luckily we didn't see one. We might see one later, so. And the third Slowpoke is all the way down here. There we go. Didn't miss that one. Disable is actually really good there. How disable usually works is that it will disable the move you used previously. So luckily we used it turn 1, so we hadn't used a move yet, which is great. Came really close to dying there, but it was pretty calculated. I felt safe enough to not heal, so. Awesome. All right, so that's our Slowpokes down, which thus completes our first challenge, which is great. We're just gonna make our way back. We are going to want to start wrapping up the bid war. So if there were any last minute donations that want to be read, that's great. We have a few minutes. Oh, there's Boufflant, don't attack me. Okay. If we have like one last quick donation, that's great. And then we can, after that, we can close the bid war.
It doesn't seem like we have any new donations, so I'm just going to let chat get a last second or two before we do, though, because yeah, it looks like current standing, and this might be the final standing too. Bulbasaur winning at $40, but Squirtle did indeed get $5 thanks to Laika's donation, so we can at least rest assured that he got a bit of love.
All right, well that's good. At least somebody gave him a little bit of love, which is good. Yeah, so yeah, we can go ahead and close it there. So if it stays the same, great. Let me know if there's any last minute changes, but I'll presume Bulbasaur unless told otherwise.
That sounds good to me, and I would like to make a quick note as well that we still have no current donations for the Outer Worlds character name bid war. Just a quick reminder that the Outer Worlds is our next run. So if anybody would like to put in even a minimum donation with any kind of name suggestion, that would be epic.
All right, so you donated, you get your Bulbasaur. Look how happy Bulbasaur is to be chosen. That's sweet. But it's all right. Squirtle still looks relatively happy, I guess, but you can see. At least it has a home, you know. It's not just going to be sitting there. And it's still wagging its tail, which generally means that it's happy, right? So hopefully it's okay. But we have chosen Bulbasaur. So right now, they just outlined what task 2 is going to be, which I'll explain a little bit more, but I just have to do a quick menu after this, so I'm going to focus on that for a second, make sure I don't screw that up. But yeah, thank you for getting those donations in towards this bid war. You made the right choice. Or did you? You'll never know. Alright, so first what we're going to do is thank you for your donations, but we're putting Bulbasaur right in the box. We're going to heal Ninetales full here. And we're going to equip the P.E.K.K.A. Berry to it now, which, as you recall, lets it heal from poison. So what challenge 2 is, Mustard was talking to everybody about it just a little bit there. So there is a special soup that he makes called Max Soup, or that the whole family makes, I suppose. And it uses an ingredient called Max Mushrooms. And what we are tasked with doing is being the first people to find Max Mushrooms, as they're kind of hard to find. So we have to get those Max Mushrooms before anybody else, basically. It's actually not a real race, even though the game kind of sets it up to be. You don't really have a chance of losing, as long as you find mushrooms. Which luckily they're in the same spot every time. And it's actually pretty cool. So we're going to get max mushrooms, which our max mushrooms, despite us collecting them, are not going to be the ones that are used in the soup. So we actually get to keep the max mushrooms, which is great because they're really handy items. They raise every one of your stats when you use them in battle. So we're going to use them twice during the run, as when we collect the max mushrooms, we're given 3. So we're going to use them twice. So they're very handy items, and we have to get them for the story anyway, so it's pretty good. We take a small detour there to pick up a hyper potion, and that is mainly just for safety, as some of the later fights can be a little bit hairy in terms of potentially dying or anything like that. Run right through there. Have not hit any random encounters yet, which is great. I will donate $5 per random encounter that I hit, minimum of $5. So even if I hit none, I will still donate $5. But if I hit more than one, then I will donate more than that. Another thing that's great too that I always love to do when doing Pokemon runs is if you got a special Pokemon that you really like, your favorite or whatever the case may be, and you want to shout them out, feel free to do so via donations. You could donate their Pokédex number or just throw in any amount of money towards this amazing cause for the emergency food shelf. And then we could shout out your special Pokemon.
That sounds like a great idea. In fact, I'd like to add to that if need be, we could always make that favorite Pokemon one of the name choices. In fact, I was thinking, wouldn't it be funny if we named the Outer Worlds character Bulbasaur after our boxed Pokemon?
Yeah, that would be great. I think that's a wonderful idea.
Heck yes.
So, as you can see, we found the mushrooms, but Clara's like, no, I'm going to take the mushrooms, so pretty standard. This fight is actually almost entirely safe, and almost nothing can happen to make it go poorly. We actually do quite a bit of setup here, because we actually want to be low health by the end of this fight. And that is so we can set up nicely for a death warp afterwards. So I use Safeguard there, and that avoids us getting confused, basically, because this Slowpoke's going to spam confusion, more or less. I'm actually going to take one more hit. I would have liked to have been lower health, but I did have, unfortunately, where my health stood after the Slowpokes was exactly so that I would heal to full with 2 potions. I actually like to leave a little off the top if I can, but I couldn't. 27 was too low, and 47 is just slightly too high, but I'd rather be too high than have to take an extra hit. But now we are completely set up to just be good to go at this point. Everything that we get thrown out, because we used Nasty Plot on ourselves 3 times, so we like super buffed our special attack. Nothing that Clara's gonna be able to throw at us is gonna be able to survive. Especially not a Whirlipede, which is part bug. So easy fight. Level 17 is good. Awesome. So we get there. Now what we're gonna do, we have like a tiny little cutscene where they talk about like, hey, did you get the mushrooms? Yeah, we did. Cool, awesome. So now what we're gonna be looking to do is Death Warp, like I mentioned, and specifically would like to do that on a Sandshrew, because that is the fastest Pokemon in this cave to do so. Cubone. Oracle is a terrible choice. Oracle is a terrible choice. Come on, give me. Is this how it happens? Is this how we go down? I've been getting really lucky with Sandshrew spawns lately when it comes to this part of the run, but of course when the marathon is here, hey, there's one, we don't get as good of luck. Even so, with this Sandshrew, it can be a little trolly as to how fast it wants to take us out. Rollout is the move we'd love to see right away, if possible, but it can use other moves. Rollout is good. Because it's the move that does the most damage. We were still slightly too high, but I couldn't afford to take another hit, unfortunately. So this was a fast Death Warp in terms of when we actually got to the Sandshrew, but we had to wait for it to spawn, so it wasn't super fast in that regard. But now we Death Warp, which gives us a free heal, and it takes us right back to the dojo, so we don't have to walk all the way back there, which is great.
If I may, any reason why we prefer Sandshrew over Cubone?
Yeah, it's entirely in the moveset, actually. So Sandshrew just has more options to take us out faster. Cubone has a lot of moves like Focus Energy and stuff like that it can spam instead, so it would just take longer to defeat us. Same thing with Torkoal, who especially is part fire, which its damaging moves, would be fire type, which would be not very effective against us. So Sandshrew is the best option we have in that cave to die rather quickly.
Sounds good. Also, just a little teensy-weensy shout out to Cubone. Eek 'em bokum.
Cubone is a great Pokemon for sure. So this is the max soup. One thing that the max mushrooms do in terms of lore is that they help Pokemon get their Dynamax properties. So that's kind of how it looks like. And it's actually a funny point. You eat the soup and then the game is like, you feel Dynamax energy swirling inside of you? And then Mustard's like, no, you don't. It's not how it works. You're not a Pokemon. So again, nice little writing in the DLC, which is part of the reason why I like this one so much. Oops. There we go. So we have completed 2 of the 3 required challenges. In the story, the vast majority of the people in the JoJo have not made it past this stage. Some people dropped out after stage 1 because they didn't even encounter a Slowpoke whatsoever. But in stage 2, nobody else got mushrooms besides myself and Clara. So we're the only ones that are making it to stage 3, and then as you can imagine, stage 3 is just a simple outright battle. So we're going to fight Clara one last time. And this fight is actually a little bit harder for us, and it has some RNG elements that could occur, so that's interesting. All right, so we're gonna make our way outside, which is where the fight is. And if you are a fan of Dynamaxing, you're gonna get to see the only instance of Dynamaxing in this run, so that's what you're into, you're gonna get to see it here. Giant Ninetales coming up.
While we have that happening, do I have time to plug in a new bid war that we just opened up?
Absolutely, yeah, real quick, for sure.
Alright, so we just opened up a new bid war for Super Monkey Ball Gaiden. It's, of course, the Monkey Bid War, and we have our typical cast of choices between I, Baby, Gon, and Mimi. So if you guys want to start getting your donations to have our runner choose that particular monkey of your choosing, well, there you go. The option is now available.
Yes, please. I'm very much looking forward to that run. That's being run by Petrus, right? Petrus or Petrus, I forget how to pronounce it. But I believe it's being run by them, which is great.
Shout out to Peter.
Fantastic run. Fantastic runner. Alright, so here we are, Clara 3, and so we're going to do a lot of setup on the Skorupi here specifically. Quite a few turns, which inherently isn't dangerous unless we get some crits and stuff, then it starts to get a little shaky. So hopefully we don't have to deal with that. Clara also tries to cheat, as you can see. And the reason, the way she tries to cheat is she throws down poison spikes on the battlefield, so I'd instantly start the fight poisoned if I didn't equip the P.E.K.K.A. Berry in advance. So I did, because I've played this game before. So that is exactly why we equipped the P.E.K.K.A. Berry there. Alright, let's see what our health is here. Yeah, we're gonna heal, which is pretty normal to have to heal here, so I'm not worried about that. And the reason why we use Safeguard as well is that we won't be poisoned until Safeguard elapses. It's great. We no longer protected by Safeguard, which is fine because we are now set up enough to defeat these Pokemon. So there we go. So in case what you're doing, so here, turn order of what exactly I did. I did Safeguard, so I can avoid getting poisoned further because that Scorpio likes to do Poison Fang. Used a Max Mushroom, which increases all my stats. Then I Nasty Plotted twice, while in addition to healing. And then I finally Flamethrowed it until it was down. Now we're going to get to Dynamax. And we're gonna get big Ninetales going. And I really, it's always funny to me when you're Dynamaxing in the speedrun format because we take off obviously battle animations. So like I'm epic. I'm this big monster. And dink, it's dead. That's all I did. You expect some kind of showmanship, but or showpersonship, but nope. We turn on battle animation, so it's just dink, it's over. Relocated again, which again non-factor. We're specifically, even though we have two options for max flare, we're specifically using the Fire Blast version because it does slightly more damage. And here is the RNG aspect of the run. Of this fight, rather. So, the last Pokemon that Claire uses is Slowbro, and Slowbro is going to Dynamax. Slowbro's special ability is Quick Draw. If it gets Quick Draw off, which of course it did, it makes it very difficult to defeat it. Because it is going to be able to go first now. Before, I outspeed the Slowbro, but because of Quick Draw, now it's going to get to go first. So she's going to Dynamax, and she's going to use Geyser, I think. So our Fire Blast is going to do significantly less damage because we are no longer going to have the drought behind us. So what we're going to hope happens is we'll survive this. I'm not worried about surviving it. So we're going to get our Fire Blast off, and then we're going to de-Dynamax, unfortunately. And then what we're going to hope for is that our Fire Blast hits in our regular form, because now the drought is back. So now we get the extra damage. And then we gotta hope it kills. And if it doesn't, we are dead, and we have to redo this fight. Oh no! We're gonna have to redo this fight regardless now. Because I fat-fingered it. Alright, that's fine. That's why we have things built in like this, which is fine. We are going to... So, I'm gonna be defeated here, which is fine. I'm going to have to save before we fight Clara again, because we only have 3 max mushrooms. So I can't afford to use another one and not save. So we're gonna have to save before it, just to make sure that I don't use too many resources. Pokemon speedrun G takes over. So we're gonna go ahead and save here. Actually, I'll save a little closer again. I should have walked a little closer to begin with. There we go. So we get to do all that again. So if you liked it before, you'll like it a lot the second time. I hope. So it goes without saying, since we're doing the exact same thing again, great time for plugs and donations if we have any.
All right, sounds good. So you guys are watching Midfall Speedball done by Midwest Speedfest. Midwest Speedfest is a Minnesota-based organization that has been hosting speedrun marathons since 2015. In the summer and winter, we partner with 2DCon and VGMCon, respectively, to help raise money for their chosen charities and bring even more entertainment to their conventions. In the spring and fall, we host online events, also in support of charity. So far, we've raised over $30,000 for various charities, and we hope to see that number continue to grow exponentially with your support. If you're enjoying the marathon, please consider following Midwest Speedfest. In addition to our seasonal speedrun marathons, we occasionally interview runners in a podcast format as part of our Runner Spotlight series. And also do consider subscribing to Midwest Speedfest for cheering bits. All Twitch revenue we receive during this event will go toward the White Bear Area Emergency Food Shelf. Of course, if you have Twitch Prime, you can subscribe for free. With that in mind, I also want to remind everybody that we still have yet to see any donations for the character named Bid War for the Outer Worlds. And again, that is our upcoming run. So again, if you have any ideas on what you would like Bystander Tim to name the main character, then consider putting that within your donation, and hopefully we will have some funny shenanigans throughout the epic 20 minutes run featuring your name here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that plug. You will notice that I reset that fight, and that is because I mistakenly forgot to equip a P.E.K.K.A. Berry. Again, most of the time I don't equip a P.E.K.K.A. Berry directly before this fight, so I I'm not used to losing this fight and then having to deal with it that point forward. And unfortunately, it set us up very poorly. I wasn't able to get out of the hole that I had set myself up in by being poisoned off the start of the fight. So I reset the fight and then made sure I equipped a P.E.K.K.A. berry and resaved this time. So if I have to reset the fight again, then I will not have to re-equip the berry this time. But yep, we're getting ready to do all this again. RNG / fat fingering at its finest. So same deal. Scroopy, we're gonna set up safeguard, a max mushroom, a bunch of nasty plots, and then flamethrower it until defeated. And now we will not be poisoned right off the bat by the spikes. Well, we will, but we'll heal it off instantly, so that's good. All right. There we go. Safeguard. Critical hit, of course, which makes things very hairy. Max mushroom. Nasty plot. Crit again. So nice reset. Game is really not cooperating. Oh my gosh. Estimate is going to be tight now. I will let you know that for sure. Because this is just the worst RNG that could happen. Hopefully we can still make it. Make it under estimate. It's not exactly super tight yet, but we'll see. We'll have to see if we can make it through. If we lose again, it's going to be really unfortunate. So hopefully we can make it work out here. Can't emphasize enough how bad that luck was. 2 crits. Even if it was my first fight, would have just absolutely defeated me. Very, very bad luck. All right, so let's try this one more time, shall we? Fair and square, she says, as she throws toxic spikes on the field. All right, so we get safeguard. Didn't get crit that time, which is great, finally. Nasty plot. And we'll probably have to heal after this, I think. We don't have to, but I'm going to anyway, just to be safe. Why risk it, right? So we are set up. All right, and then now we're gonna Dynamax again. And then, again, these next 2 Pokemon are just really simple dinks, so Wheezing and Whirlipede are never a problem. It's when we get to the Slowbro, that's a problem, and then obviously if the Scroopy keeps critting on us like it did the first time, that's going to be a problem for us, but otherwise we're okay. So those are those two down. Again, what we do not want to see here is a quick draw success. So hopefully we don't get it. Because then if we don't get quick draw, then we will just win. If we get quick draw, we still have a chance to win, but it's less likely. Unbelievable luck. Like, I can't. All I can do is laugh. That's all I can do. Unbelievable luck right now. We can still survive. We have a chance. It's not a great chance, but it is a chance. She also says, let my poison drive you crazy, and she doesn't use a poison attack there, but that's none of my business. Alright, don't fat finger it this time, but we still have a chance of losing if our attack just straight up misses here, which it can. Oh my gosh. So we're in a tight spot now. I'll be honest, even if I gold splitted every split from here on out, we would probably be overestimate because we have lost 11 minutes on this split alone. So we will go as far as we can, but if we have to cut the run, then we have to cut the run towards the end, which is fine. But we will keep going as far as we can.
All right. Well, if we have a moment for a quick donation.
So many moments. So many moments.
Hey, honestly, if it makes you feel better, at least now we know that Clara sure knows how to be toxic.
Oh boy, she sure does. But yeah, feel free. Donations, plugs. You got plenty of time.
Indeed. We have a $1 donation from I of Newt saying, In case you're wondering what that was about, that's going to the Outer Worlds to name the character Soup.
Yum. Max Soup.
Soup. I'm at Soup! What do you mean you're at Soup?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, keep going. Because this is all the same stuff I've already said, so just keep going with it.
No problem. So, I'd like to remind everybody that we are currently raising money for White Bear Area Emergency Food Shelf. The White Bear Area Emergency Food Shelf has served as a critical resource for families experiencing food insecurity since 1977, providing food and support to over 1,200 families each month. They work toward eliminating barriers that limit access to healthy food for families living on a low or fixed income. Their vision is to end food insecurity in the White Bear area, though their programs are open to anybody in need of food regardless of geographic boundaries. The White Bear Area Emergency Food Shelf relies on generous donors like you to advance their mission of providing food and support to their neighbors in need. For every $1 donated, they can purchase $8 in healthy groceries for families struggling to make ends meet. So every little bit helps.
Awesome. Yep. Cannot emphasize enough how good of a cause this is and how important it is, even in these, especially rather in these trying times, to get those donations in for something so great. So continue to do that. All right. Big Tails is up again. Take out the next couple for us. And then hopefully we get some kind of cooperation from the game. Just something to help us out, please. All right, slow bro. please, if we, I can't emphasize it enough. If quick draw does not happen, which is not likely to happen to begin with, this fight is over. Look, all right, excellent. No quick draw. This fight's done. It's over. It's not that hard. I just need something to coin flip my way, please. Like it's over now.
Less RNG.
Oh, what a disaster! Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness! But congratulations on the win.
Yeah, finally, this fight is over. But yeah, watch. This is what happens normally. Boom. Bye, slow bro. It's the end. That's how it goes. That's how it's meant to happen. Quick draw is unlikely to happen regardless. The fact that we got it twice in a row is pretty terrible. Not to mention, pretty unlucky that we got double crit by the Scroopy in that other fight. I would love to calculate the percentage as to what could have caused this to happen, but I bet it's probably in the low percentages that I had all of this bad luck happen at once. But yeah, as of right now, if things go normally from here, I'd probably be 4 minutes over estimate. So if we have to cut, then we will. But I'll kind of keep you updated as we go through the run.
All right. Well, I do want to give a special thanks to our friends at Japanese Restream for all the RTA blesses or prayers. I think that helped your luck there too.
Thank you for everyone who got me through that fight. You are the real MVPs for sure. Okay, so we are now, so we got a little cutscene action here. So we're now going to be done with using Ninetales. The rest of the run is going to be using Kubfu. So what we're going to do is, after this cutscene, we're going to be able to talk to Mustard to get the Kubfu. But what we're going to do first is we're actually going to change the time and date in our Switch again. And that will be for training purposes for the Kubfu, as you'll see here shortly. So I'm going to walk out front, go into our settings, system, date and time, and then we're going to change it to October 15th at the same time is fine. And then we're going to save. And then talk to Mustard. The reason why we're like I mentioned, changing the date and time is very key for Kubfu's training, which we'll get into here in a little bit. But why we save here is that we want to make sure we have a runnable Kubfu. We're going to take some precautions to make it a little bit safer in terms of his ability to survive. So the only stat that's going to be really important for us to make sure that Kubfu can make it through to the end is speed. So as long as our speed is good enough, then we will be able to make this work. We can really make it work with anything else. So if our speed is real bad on this Kubfu, we'll reset and just get a new Kubfu. Hopefully we don't have to, because that would waste some time. Right.
I am curious.
Yes.
Is there any thought to maybe give this fella a name, or do we not usually do that?
So we won't be able to, based on how our settings are set up currently. Oops, wrong button. Because I turned off giving nicknames as an option. Or else I would love to, but let's see. So speed is great actually, so we're good. Oh, actually, but I need to deposit the Ninetales first though.
If it were me, I probably would have named our Kubfu Deal!
Yeah, of course. It's gonna have to beast here a little bit. So, in terms of what we do for Kubfu, so we need to train Kubfu before we're able to just run up to the tower to kind of complete the end of the story here. Because those Pokemon are at a specific level and Kubfu needs to be able to defeat them. So what we do to train Kubfu is we kind of just meander out in this grass out front, and we're looking very specifically for Blissies. Because Blissies are very easy for us to defeat even if they are a higher level than us, and they are large sacks of experience points. Large sacks. So we are going to be kind of meandering until we find some Blissies, and then we're going to go after the first one we see. All right, we're going to have to fight probably like 4 or 5 of them, I would imagine, depending on the level of the Blissies that we find. If we get a lot of high level ones, we could probably do it in less. So hopefully we get some high level ones. and hopefully they just pop out in general, which would be really great. They are not like the most common Pokemon in this area to find, so we kind of have to just hope that they come out rather quickly. Hopefully we get one soon, because this is another like decent RNG section of the run, whether or not they come out fast or not. Okay, there's one. Voila. So yeah, you'll see here, even with defeating this first one, 14 is good. So the highest that we could get is 15. So 14 is a pretty high level, which is good. Defense curl on the first turn is not great, but that just means that this fight is going to take a little longer than need be. Not a big deal though. So you'll see here right now our Kubfu is level 10, so 4 levels under this Blissey. Nice attack there. And just watch how much the first jump is going to be. Boom, 5 levels. So that's how much experience that they give us. Was there one right behind me? Okay, no. I thought one popped up immediately behind me when I got there. So that's why Blisseys are very important. Any other Pokemon here is going to give us like partials of levels at most, and Blisseys just have so many experience points that they are worth defeating. We're going to look to be somewhere in between somewhere in the 20 to 21 range when we leave here. So that's what we're going to be looking for. So we're going to be fighting Blisseys until we get to roughly that level. If you recall near the beginning of the run as well, shortly after I caught that Wooloo and then we went to the Pokemon lab to see Sonia for the first time, I picked up a rare candy. And that is because I can use the rare candy to level up our Kubfu if it lines up nicely enough to do so based on our experience points. So I will use that if we get the opportunity. The Blisseys just do not want to come out though, of course. They will get out eventually, I promise. Come on now. Don't be shy. No reason to be shy, just want to defeat you. No reason to be scared of that. Oops. Hello, Ralts. Snuck up on me there. I would just say I would defeat this Ralts, but because it's a Psychic type, I have nothing to defeat it well. Because I am a fighting type Pokemon at the moment, so I don't really have any good moves in order to make that fight fast. Because any experience would be good, but specifically Ralts is a little tough to deal with. Abra would be the same way, except Abra only has teleport, so it's not a big deal regardless. Hey, don't. So yeah, that can happen. They can run away, and then if they get to a barrier like that, they'll disappear. So yeah, that's what happened. Hopefully we get another one soon. Yeah, feel free for plugs or donations as well. It's another good time. All we're doing here is wandering to find Blisseys, so another great time if we have anything.
No problemo. Radio. Let me take a look here. Yeah, we do not currently have any donos, but we do have some prizes, as throughout Midfall Speedball 2020, a single $5 donation or larger will enter you to win one of 25 Steam keys for the retro arcade puzzle game Delta Light, developed by Flatbox Studios. Combine your speed and insight to outmaneuver and puzzle your way around the enemies to complete the many levels. Please ensure you are logged into your speedrun.com account when you donate, so we can contact you if you win. And Midwest Speed West has partnered with Humble Bumble. Midwest Speed Fest has partnered with Humble Bumble. Type in !Humble Bumble for a code you can add to the end of any Humble Bumble store link to support the White Bear Area Emergency Food Shelf.
Excellent.
Man, I cannot speak sometimes.
It's tough. It's tough out there. I know how it is. All right, so we finally found another Blissey. We were getting very unfortunate luck. Not only did one run away from us, but it's taking a long time for these things to spawn. It can take a while. Again, it's all RNG. There's not really anything I can control about it. So it can just take some time, which is why I tried to build that into the estimate. However, losing several times to Clara is something that I anticipated maybe I could lose once. I did not expect to lose 3 times because that has never happened, and the luck would be insane for that to happen. But nonetheless, welcome to marathon running. So we're looking to get some more Blissies popping up here so we can defeat them. You know, just gonna kind of be saying that. So, you know, Marathon's been great so far, by the way. I've enjoyed several different runs. I've gotten to not commentate, but rather host some runs. So I've been having a really good time, really enjoying it this past weekend. You know, it's always a great time to be able to be a part of something like this. Just a wonderful group of people and the crew, wonderful staff. And yeah, I'm just very happy to be able to be a part of it as both a runner and a volunteer. So yeah, thank you all for having me again. I'm saying that mainly so you will not hate me for being so overestimate or having to cut the run prematurely. I do apologize for that, but Pokemon, I'm not even really upset about it because Pokemon is just a massively unpredictable game, and you can always set a worst case scenario and it can always be breached because something will happen that you haven't seen before, and that is just Pokemon. That is just how it goes. Nothing you can really do about it, especially when the Blissies don't pop up at all. Come on, Blissey. All right, there we go. Hey, don't run away. Don't run away. No. Oh my gosh. I accidentally clicked down my stick to whistle. It didn't work, and it ran away.
Blissey, why? Why must you do this?
That one was my fault. It wasn't. I could have caught that Blissey, I think. Maybe it might have been close, but I think I could have got it. But because I fat thumbed the stick there, I accidentally clicked it down to whistle, which does not help in this case.
I honestly think it's still Blissey's fault for running away.
Yeah. Doesn't help, to be sure. Come on. Show up. This is extraordinarily long. I know I've had 2 run away, so that kind of explains as to why they're not coming out, but like, yes, there is RNG as to when they pop up, but this is a lot. This is a lot of time wasted. You got to show up at some point. Come on. Just pop out. Here, you know what we'll do? We're gonna wait, was that one? No, that was the Ralts. Oh, wait, there we go. Never mind. I can catch this one. 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 Is it Blissey I got? Okay, good. Alright, there we go. I was gonna say I'm gonna cross the bridge, which is farther away from where we need to be, but I was like, we gotta try something different here. Alright, so here we go. We're gonna take out this Blissey. Boom. So what we're gonna do, I would like to fight one more Blissey for safety, but since there's too big of a chance that we're probably gonna have to cut this run short, I'm gonna just make a right. I'm gonna go with what I have right now. I have a rare candy, so if I need to rare candy again, I will. So that will make it a little bit safer. But I'm gonna go with this. This is actually still decently safe. It's just slightly less safe. We can take a good Cubfu in as low as level like 14 or 15. So there's still options to be much more unsafe than what I'm doing now. 19 is still pretty safe, but what we do from this point forward is, in order to progress to the tower, we have to get Cubfu to be friendly with us. And by far the fastest, easiest way to do that is to have Cubfu visit each landmark, and we kind of like bond over kind of just staring out into the environments. So and that gains us friendship points. Typically we will go to 3 of these different points, and then that will be enough friendship. Occasionally, and it probably won't happen in this because we battled a little longer than a normal route would, but if we only had attacked 1 or 2 Blissies, for example, even after the 3 points, our friendship level might not be high enough, so then we would use the Pokemon camp in order to kind of buff it up a little bit. But I don't think that's going to be a problem here. I think we're going to have plenty of friendship to be able to progress the story. There is also a chance, like in my path here, that I could see a Chansey, which a Chansey does offer good experience as well. It's not quite as much of a Blissey as a Blissey, but it's still a good amount. So if I do see a Chansey, I'll just go ahead and fight it, just to be extra safe. But if I don't, it's also fine. So yeah, there we go. Let's try it. There we go. We even one-shot it, so that's great. There we go. Excellent. So there we go. We don't need to defeat anything else. So what we're going to do now is we're going to head over to point 2, which is kind of at the top, near kind of the cave that we were in before when we were grabbing the max mushrooms. It's kind of close to there. So we'll head that way. And then the third point is actually going through specifically the cave we were before where we got the max mushrooms. But we will go through the cave, talk to somebody, get the points, and we're actually going to grab a few items as well. So you'll kind of get to see what we grab there. All right, so heading up here, we'll see another dojo member. So this is scenic area number 2. Because of the time of year that we have, they don't look particularly like beautiful, but if it was a good time of day and a good season, like these views could actually be nice. But especially in the third one, you will see the third viewpoint, rather, you'll see that it's not a particularly beautiful viewpoint at all. So you're kind of left wondering, like, what do the trainer and Cubfu see that is just making them bond so well at that point? It's kind of a funny moment. But we're gonna head down the stairs here, not hit that Tauros. Head around into that same cave as before. Not hit that Tauros, or I guess I hit something on the ground here. So that's 1 wild encounter, by the way. Oh, actually that's 2 because I hit a Ralts as well, so that's 2, so that's $10. All right, and then yeah, so we're gonna go through the cave. You'll notice even that the Pokemon in the cave will be slightly different than when we were there last time, and that is purely because I changed the time on the clock. So Sandshrew stays the same, but we might see a Chansey in here, we might see some other things, or we might just see Sandshrews. Where were we all at when I was looking for you earlier? I had Cubone as well. Awesome. So you know, you'll just have to take my word for it. Yeah, so everyone enjoy this beautiful scenic, picturesque moment together. Beautiful, isn't it? Just gorgeous. All right, so now we're going to go and grab a few items here and then do a death warp. So we're going to grab this item, which is a Rocky Helmet. When you equip a Rocky Helmet to your Pokemon, if somebody uses a physical move on you, it will also take damage. Which will be useful for the upcoming fights here. And the second thing we're going to grab is this TM hidden in the rocks here, which is for reversal. And then we will menu after doing the death warp. We're going to do our death warp on this Rhyperior that pops up over here. As you can see, it's going to be very beefy, and it takes us out rather quickly. So, boom, death warp. All right, so now we go right back to the dojo again, so we save all that walking. And then our Kubfu should be plenty happy enough, which when we get a transition like this, that proves that he is. And then we make our way over to the tower to defeat the trainers, and that would be the end of the run. I'll go until, you know, I'm cut off. I know we're not quite at estimate yet. If I had to guess as to how much more time we would have from this point in the run, it would probably be, let me see here. I would probably be like 8 minutes over estimate. So at any point, if we need to cut it off, that is perfectly fine. You just let me know.
All right. Well,
we'll see as far as we can. We'll get as far as we can.
I'm wishing you the best of luck, man.
Here we go. So all we got to do is walk over to the tower and start the tower. So that's all we have to do. And then in the tower, there are several trainers that we have to defeat. First thing we're going to do, though, is we're going to go into our bag. We're going to use a few things. We're going to use the rare candy. So it levels up to 21. We're going to equip the Rocky helmet. And then we are going to teach reversal. So reversal is a move that does more power the less health you have. So we're going, but Kubfu also knows a move called Endure. So what we do is we often try to combo Endure and reversal. I'm walking explicitly around that Boufflant so it doesn't charge me. There we go. Yeah, so what we do is we try to do a combo of Endure and reversal quite a few times, because Endure will make it so that we'll survive a hit that would have killed us with 1 hit point. And then we can combo that with reversal to do maximum damage, so it does a lot of power. So we are going to attempt to do that a few different times in the last fights here. All right. So we just got to make our way there. It's a great time for any last minute plugs or donations that come in through before we get to the tower, because then it's going to kind of be nonstop from there.
All right. Well, I do want to remind you all that Midwest Speed Fest is partnered with Rogue Energy. Type !Rogue Energy in chat or check our Twitch bio for a link to the Rogue Energy store where you can buy an energy drink. A portion of your purchase will go toward the White Bear area emergency food shelf. Midwest Speedfest would also like to send a special thanks to LPAV for providing PVMs, projectors, and cameras for our marathons since 2017. LPAV is Minnesota's trusted video and audio vendor since 2003. Having worked with companies such as Mountain Dew and Microsoft, you can trust LPAV will do it right the first time. Please support them by checking out their eBay store, which you can find in our Twitch bio, or by typing !LPAV.
Excellent, thank you so much. So it's worth noting, so obviously this run is called the Tower of Two Fists. There are 2 towers that you can choose from if you're playing this casually. One, depending on which tower you choose, your Kubfu will evolve into an Urshifu of a different type. We choose the Dark Tower because it is easier for us, obviously. The other tower is Water. So that just always worth pointing out. Tower is just going to give us some better options as we are fighting type, so it makes it a little bit easier for us. So now we are in the tower.
I do want to say there is a bit of irony behind the fact that one of the evolution's forms happens to be a type that its primary one is weak against.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, which is kind of interesting. So that's what makes this just an easier fight for us. So you can see we got swiped by the Zorua, but we also had Rocky Helmet on, so it did a little damage. It's gonna sucker punch us again, so it actually just dealt its own demise because we have Rocky Helmet on. So there it goes. That's one trainer down. Luckily, there are several trainers in the tower here. Luckily, they all have one Pokemon, including Mustard, who is the last trainer we fight. All right, so it's second trainer. A Rock Smash here. We will see if we get into a good situation to use Reversal here. Might be good. I'm gonna try it. That might be enough damage to take it out. Yeah, awesome. So not bad. Nice 2-turn fight here. That one can take 3 turns depending on how much health you have. So not too bad.
Hey, unfortunately, we were going to have to make the call to cut the run short.
That's fine. I had a feeling. No problem.
That's okay.
No
We were a little bit behind, and we want to get back on schedule as much as possible.
Of course. Understandable.
But thank you so much for the run so far.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. Sorry I couldn't finish it out for you, but yeah, check out my stream sometime if you'd like to see a finished run of this.
I'm sure that will definitely be doable for sure. Thank you so much, though. And hey, at the very least, we managed to beat Clara. We managed to get Bulbasaur, and
we got through a bunch of it.
I think we can rest easy knowing that we did our best.
We did.
Marathon Pokemon runs are going to be marathon Pokemon runs.
It'd be like that sometimes, so nothing we can do about it. Awesome. Well,
right.
thank you guys for having me.
Do you want to have any more plugs here before we switch over?
Yeah, no, just thank you for the crew, everyone working hard behind the scenes and out front for Midwest Speed Fest. Feel free to check out my stream sometime. I promise the runs don't always go this badly, so come check me out at twitch.tv/Conception2.